When I was a kid, I was always told how good it was to read. I remember back when I was in primary school, I was one of the best readers. But as soon as I ended up getting into secondary school, I just started gaming because I got my own PlayStation. So then as a result of that, reading kind of fell to the wayside because gaming was just so much more stimulating. Fast forward to the ages of 18 and 19 and I start to hop on self-improvement, and all my favourite inspirational figures are saying they all read, and reading is one of the best things that they have attributed to their success. So then I think to myself, okay, perhaps there's actually something to this whole reading thing, so let's give it a go. So I ended up getting this book here, The 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson, and I remember distinctively when I was in college, I could not get past a few sentences at a time before having to put the book down because my attention span just would not allow it. This book took me 6 months to finish. This is the first book I ever properly read on my own accord. If I knew what I know now, then I would have been able to be reading hundreds of books by this point, and I would have absorbed so much more knowledge a lot faster, and my life would be in a different plane. Now at this point, reading isn't a struggle for me. If anything, I actually find it more enjoyable than I had found video games. Reading is now my new video games. For reference, I'm currently reading this book, The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. It's a very deep book, there's a lot to it, but I'm finding it super buttery to read through. I'm really enjoying it, and I actually look forward to reading. So if this is a state that you want to get to yourself, if you want to get better at reading, and if you want to know how to actually become more fluid, then this is the video for you. Watch till the end. The most important thing when it comes to getting better at reading and getting proficient at it to the point where you actually enjoy doing it and you don't have to slog through sentences or paragraphs at a time is understanding your dopamine. Now, what dopamine is, it's a neurochemical that's released in your brain which is very closely linked to reward, pleasure and motivation to do things. The reason why we need to know so much about dopamine is because if we don't understand it, we'll never be able to actually get to the point where we want to read. So let me explain this to you right now. So we do this here. So right now at the moment, you like to go on social media, right? You also play video games. You like to eat junk food. You like to watch porn. Okay? So you do all of these habits. All of these are really, really stimulating. And then after you've done all of these, you then want to go read a book. Okay? Reading a book is a lot less stimulating than all of these things here. And because of this, these things release way more dopamine. These things release way more dopamine than reading a book. So the problem that you're going to face, because you're doing all of these habits, your brain is now stimulated by them. So when you go and try to read a book, you're not going to be able to have the focus to actually be able to do it, simply because your brain, all it wants is dopamine, right? It doesn't give a fuck where it gets it from. You try to read a book, it's nowhere near as stimulating as scrolling on social media for 12 hours. You're not going to get anywhere near the same level of dopamine. So then as a result, your brain isn't going to want to fucking do it. That's why you have a problem with trying to focus on the book. Let me explain it to you this way. You have a baseline dopamine, right? This is the current level of dopamine that you are at right now. Reading a book is all the way down here. We've somehow got to go from here to there in order for you to be able to actually read the book. So how do we do this? What we do is we start taking things away. So slowly, over time, we remove social media from our lives. And what this does is, because all of this is releasing dopamine, we want to eliminate things that are going to be releasing loads of dopamine. And so naturally, over time, we're going to be getting rid of the habits that are stimulating our brain, so then over time we can get to the point where we can read a book. So let's say if we removed social media, right? We are going from this level, that level there. Let's just fucking get rid of that. We're going from that level there to that level there. So what we're doing is just slowly chipping away, slowly going down to the point where our brain is going to become more recipient to lower levels of stimulation. What this is effectively called a dopamine, English, detox. Now, you've probably heard this term coined around on the internet. Oh, you've got a dopamine detox, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. All the most successful people in the world, all the people who make all the money, who do all the best things, they all dopamine detox. And the reason for this is you're not capable of becoming the most proficient and effective version of yourself whilst you're still putting dopamine into things that don't serve your life. So this is your social media, this is your porn, this is your video games, this is your junk food. These things basically hijack your reward system because they are so stimulating. Your brain just wants the stimulation, right? And because these things are more stimulating than anything else, like such as reading a book or doing any work, your brain is automatically going to go straight to them. So let's say you have a bad habit cocktail, right? Social media, porn, junk food, and video games. What most people will do, this is the effect that people have on New Year's, right? They go through this massive change where they suddenly go, you know what? I'm going to fix my fucking life. I'm going to do everything different. New year, new me. We're changing this. Give it 2 months. They're back to exactly where they were. This is because they don't realise how dopamine works. When you go from such a high point of stimulation, doing all these things, they're really, really stimulating, yeah? Your brain's loving this because you're getting so much dopamine from it. When you go from this to doing virtually nothing, your brain hates it. This is why you relapse, because you end up taking too much away too quick. There's going to be a bounce back. This is why you see people do like a yo-yo diet, where they do really well and they lose loads of weight, but then they go back up because they can't maintain it. The idea is you do it one by one, okay? So if you're wanting to get better at reading books, what you got to do is start off by eliminating social media. You practice this for a few months at a time. This is not a quick fix. You're not suddenly going to get to the point where you're going to be capable of doing things like reading books because you haven't been in a low dopamine state for long enough. You need to slowly lower it down to your brain. So the idea is we're going to slowly remove one thing at a time. Remove social media, because when you remove one thing at a time, it's so much easier to maintain that because you're only going to be in because you are only going to be in a little bit of a dip. Yeah, you're not going to be in a massive dip. Whereas if you remove all of it at once, the dip is huge, and your brain's going to be freaking out, and it's not going to like it, and you're not going to be able to maintain it for a long period of time. So when we just slowly remove one thing, so let's say month 1, we're removing social media, and then let's say month 3, we're removing porn. And then month 5, we're removing junk food. And then after that, month 7, we're removing video games. This isn't going to be an overnight fix. This will take a good amount of time. But as you progress, you will get to the point where you are going to be capable of being a low stimulation person. And the benefit that you get from being a low stimulation person is that things that normal people would typically express as boring, you find interesting. So this is work, this is going to the gym, this is exercising, this is going for a walk, this is reading a book, this is just simply being out in nature. All these things that previously you found quite boring now are incredibly interesting. And this is how you get to the point where you're capable of reading for hours on end. When you eliminate all of the hyper-stimulating things from your life, you will get to the point where you are now capable of reading a book for a long period of time. It's as simple as that. There's no hack. There's no crazy method on how to read quicker or anything like that. It's simply, if you get better at managing your dopamine, you will get to the point where low stim things feel highly stimulating. And then as a result of that, you're not going to be struggling with reading books. You're going to get to the point where you can read with ease and it will be one of the most enjoyable things you've ever done. I compare reading a book to playing video games because at this point it does feel like that. It's as fun as what video games used to feel like. And by God, video games were fun, okay? I was really big into a lot of FPSs and these are all really hyper-stimulating games. They're super fun. The gameplay loop is awesome. All this stuff has been engineered to keep your attention. I tell you, a book captivates me just as well. But the only way I was capable of doing that was quitting the video games because I've got a PC behind me there. You're not going to be able to see that. If I end up re-downloading, let's say, I don't know, Apex Legends or Call of Duty, my brain isn't going to want to read a book because the game is a lot more stimulating than the book. It's just about understanding what habits are good and bad for your brain and then tailoring your life to it. If you found this video helpful, I have a coaching link in the description below where I'll help men just like you eliminate instant gratification from your life so that you may start to live the life that you truly want by implementing delayed gratification. If that's something you're interested in, click it and we'll have a chat. If not, share this video, like, comment and subscribe for the algorithm, and I'll catch you in the next one.